All right.
Anyway. All right, this is Not So Round Tables, episode 5, scene 5 alpha, take 1. Welcome back once again, guys, to the Not So Round Table. I was looking at the wrong camera at first. Roger's just got a pretty face. You know the drill. This is a kind of a video we do where we answer questions as posed by you guys from previous videos. Or if you pose a question, I think on our Facebook, we've been pulling a couple from there too.
No, we haven't pulled any from Facebook.
Not yet.
It's all via YouTube right now.
Okay. And we have a variety of guests on. Nobody this week. It's just George and I, but maybe next week we'll have somebody new and interesting and a little bit different from our faces. So,
well, we're trying. I mean, it is the holidays, though, so it's a little harder. Awkward silence. You want to go first?
All right, let's pull a question. Right out of the top, this one's from Aiden RDL. How do you find a team if none of your friends are into Airsoft? What do you think, George?
I think just meet friends who play Airsoft, or, you meet them at local fields, or, and you just, let's say you go to the same field a bunch of times, you'll see the same people usually, and then you just, talk to them, and eventually you can maybe make a group together. I don't know.
I feel like that's the joy of Airsoft. When I started, I didn't know anybody. Yeah. There was nobody at my high school that played, and so I started just going to a field. And the great thing about Airsoft is even if you go alone, you play a couple times and you start to get familiar with people, and then inevitably you will meet people that are interested in playing with you more often, and you can build friendships and maybe a team that way. The other thing is that because the internet is so amazing now, I mean, we're on YouTube here, but there are a huge variety of Airsoft forums. And so if you're looking for people in your area that are trying to, start playing Airsoft, any one of the Airsoft forums online, I'm sure can help you network with other Airsofters. So that's how I would go about it. And convince your friends to play. It's worth getting out.
True. I'm going to go to the bottom.
Oh, you're going from the bottom. Now we're here. Sorry,
I like how we're wearing Christmas colors today.
We coordinated.
Yeah. Okay, this is from Rodney
Madrigal.
Okay. Hey guys, I was curious about your thoughts on what was more viable attachment for indoor milsim, a light or a laser. I know there's a lot of options to run both, or there's an option to run both, but minimizing weight for long events. Also, greetings from Canada.
Awesome. I'm glad. That's cool. We have somebody up in Canada. You guys have some weird rules about the color of guns.
Yeah.
We're dealing with that here in California
now. We're trying to, I don't know. We're trying to get through that, but. Yeah. All right. Lights, lasers, whatever for indoors. What do you think? Okay,
first, I understand your desire to cut weight. There are a couple options that kind of incorporate lasers and flashlights into the same platform, so you're really not adding too much weight. It might be like an extra, little anode that powers the laser, so that's not a huge deal. From a personal standpoint, I think lasers look really cool, but they're limited in terms of effectiveness, I feel, on rifles. On a laser on a pistol might work a little bit more effectively because it's such a small platform and because you have such small engagement distances with a pistol. You can more accurately, grab a sight picture as long as you aim the laser. See, not a lot of people know that there are adjustments to aim the lasers. You actually, like a scope, need to test it out and take it to a range and get an accurate aiming to the laser. But I think far and wide, I'd go with a flashlight attachment.
Flashlight and CQB, I think, is completely necessary because either you will run into environments where you need a light,
dark
or also it's very helpful to see your BBs if the lighting's already kind of like dim anyway.
That's true. It's like a basic tracer.
Yeah, it's like a tracer basically that you're using. Yeah, that's good. Laser, completely agree. It's on a pistol. I mean, that's coming from the real environment as well. You really don't have a use for a laser on a rifle. I mean, the whole purpose of it in the real world for a visible laser is to let the person know that you have them killed.
Okay.
So like the FBI would use that to say, hey, we got you. You better not do anything.
Like the movies when you have like 50 lasers coming, which really is just like all the assistants for the movie production with laser pointers in the background.
So those lasers aren't, whereas like if you have it on a pistol, you can, the purpose of it is like you pick around a corner, you could have your pistol at like a low ready
and not have to have it sighted.
And not have to have it out. So if you're in a smaller situation, you could still aim at a person.
That begs the question, though, because you know how most fields, if you don't have it sighted in, you're technically blind firing.
But you're still looking around the corner. That's not blind firing.
Okay. So
this is blind firing.
Yeah.
No, if you would think of a wall right here, you'd stick out with your gun maybe lower because you can't have it all the way in front of you. But
so as you're coming,
but that way you know where you're gonna shoot. Especially if the assailant's pretty close. And then in terms of lasers for outdoors, I think IR, if you're running like night vision, I guess that's about it. That's the only use for those outdoors.
But IR lasers are so expensive.
Yes, I know.
Oh, and flashlights. The new function of not new, but the function of flashlights to use strobe
is annoying.
Is a wonderful tool for indoor and CQB airsoft. If you that second where you're flashing somebody on strobe disorients your opponent, it takes their finger off the trigger, so you have that advantage. So that disorientation really helps. I'm telling you, like if you can get a strobe function, it is absolutely annoying to your opponent, but it is so effective.
Yes.
All right.
That was a long one. That was a good
Sorry.
question. I like that question. You're informative.
Okay, this one's from Jacobs or Jacob S. What are your opinions on airsoft grenades and other airsoft explosives or mines?
Love them.
Love them.
Smoke grenades, awesome. Smoke grenades you can't really use out here though. Sadly, we have all these laws out here that you can't use cold smoke very much.
Part of that's because of fire warning.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a few times we've been able to use cold smoke, Red Storm and stuff like that. We really enjoyed that. I don't know about you. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Added to everything. Thunder Bees, pretty cool, pretty affordable. I mean, if you lose a Thunder Bee, it's not the end of the world. Tornadoes, and those the expensive. I don't know if I'd ever want to use those. Like I said, I would just be worried that I lose it or and then you're out $100.
The times I've seen tornadoes really shine in terms of effectiveness is indoor environments. If you toss it into a room, because that 360-degree spread of BBs is really effective. And if you're playing with Thunder Bees where they don't count as kills, the tornado is really your only other option.
Yeah.
The fact that it doesn't make noise is kind of lame. I mean, I wish it kind of made noise. I know Mad Bull also makes like a gas rechargeable grenade that makes like 110 decibel.
Yeah.
I don't know if we carry that yet.
No,
I think
we had it before, and I think there was some legal issues. I don't know.
Okay.
It's whatever. Maybe we carry them, maybe we don't. I don't know right now.
Yeah. But okay, so in terms of Thunder Bees, I think they're cool as heck. And we were at this game where these guys were in this room and they weren't calling their hits. So we happened to have some like
all right, collection.
Okay, you're right.
You were in this area where guys were not. I was not
I
anywhere near this. I was on the opposite team.
I was with a group of non-Evike employees.
There we go. Let's get it correct.
And we happened to have a Thunder Bee that had S Thunder powder in it. It was pink. So we wanted to know how effective the Thunder Bees were because we had thrown like 3 and nobody had called hit yet. So we just tossed in the pink dye one, and a bunch of guys came out with pink gear. And I'm sorry for that, but you weren't calling your hits.
True, they almost deserved it at that point.
Disclaimer: don't do that. Like John,
baby powder works.
We had quite a few people get upset. I was gone at that point. Ran.
All right, I opened it upside down. Matt R. Are airsoft guns too realistic? They have been mistaken for real guns. This is like many times by police. Same questions we had last week, sort of.
Okay, so just quick answers.
Yeah, quick answer is no, I don't think they're too realistic, but you have to be responsible. That's the short answer, right?
Yeah.
So
Works
we're
for me.
We're gonna move on.
The reason you're playing airsoft is because of that added realism. If you didn't want them to look realistic, go play paintball.
True. All right, Jackson Murray. What do you guys have to say about Big 5 guns? The Big 5 guns and Dick's Sporting Goods, Sport Chalet, those kind of guns. Are they good guns? No.
Well, there's a reason that you have dedicated airsoft shops that exist. If you're looking for a product that's going to last longer, sold to you by a knowledgeable salesperson,
Yes.
And supported by an entire team company that understands the products and understands you as a customer, that's why you go to airsoft shops. I mean, I understand why some of the other sporting goods retailers sell airsoft guns. They're a product that's growing in popularity, and they're a wider range.
They do get people into the sport, but they are not the quality. They're not the quality of an AEG.
Yeah.
They're quality of like an LP.
Yeah, they're
LP
low power
AEG. They're not going to be effective. I remember I saw somebody bring one out to a field once, was not effective at all. You're better off using a rental gun or something like that.
And in terms of safety, we've heard multiple horror stories about sporting goods stores, not to name names, and bigger chain stores not not carding people, making sure that they're an adult to even buy an airsoft gun. So
Yeah.
I would just be wary of that.
Yeah.
If you have an airsoft shop near you, just get from them.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get a good question. That one looks like a long one.
Yeah. Okay, this one's from the Smashmaster 101. What's your opinion on field noobs? I deal with them often at my normal field. Some listen, some don't. If you go to a new field, do you listen to the locals? Does it aggravate you if people who don't know the field completely disregard your advice? There are a couple questions in here. So, what's your opinion on field noobs?
New players make the sport better. If you are angry with noobs, that's shouldn't be what you're concerned about. You should be concerned about what you do, not what other people do.
And the more players, target-rich environment.
True.
Okay, so I deal with them often in my normal field. Some listen, some don't. If you go to a new field, do you listen to the locals?
Not really. If I'll take that back. No, if I'm new to a field, I'll be like, hey, what's the environment? Talk to people like that, and I'll get an idea of what I'm dealing with. But
for me, like if I'm at a new field, I always like to canvass like the guys that have been playing there often. Like, what's a good route to take? Where do the other players normally funnel from their side? What is the tactical advantage? I try to get as much intel as I can. And in terms of like rules and kind of like how people play, I kind of like to watch a game or two before I get into it, just to see how people are playing and how people kind of like treat each other. So I know kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. I don't think that anybody should ever voluntarily just start telling what somebody should do.
No,
I'm not a fan of that. So if that's a question, there's nothing wrong with giving advice if they don't take your advice.
If they ask.
If they ask for your advice, give it. If you give advice just randomly and they don't listen, you don't have to give them advice anymore.
I think you answered the last question anyway.
That's something I learned in real shooting a lot was, shooting in IDPA. I learned very quickly that there are some people out there who will take advice and give advice, and you want to listen to the people who will give you advice. And then if you don't, or you're one of the, then it doesn't help you. So
sure,
whatever. I went off on a tangent there.
Hopefully we answered all the questions there.
All right. John Larson. Hey guys, just wondering, how do you guys handle wildlife on the field, such as snakes, large bugs, or lizards, etc.?
Okay.
That's a good question, actually. When I play field games, usually I'll rock a cheap fixed blade knife in case I have to deal with snakes. Usually I only mount it on my rig for those specific games. I don't have it on my rig at all times.
With that said, George and myself have dealt with snakes in the past.
Yes.
We have been educated on the proper behavior and attitude to take when encountering wildlife like snakes. If in doubt, get away.
Yes.
Don't just carry a knife on the field thinking you're just going to go gung-ho on some wildlife that you think is going to attack you. That is absolutely ridiculous.
No, the purpose of the knife is you can use it in a situation
last-ditch effort
to move something without endangering your hand as much, and there's other uses for knives. Yeah. That is what they're used for. I don't like players that go to a CQB field that have a real knife on their back or whatever.
There's no
that
reason.
Is pointless. When I go to a game where I know there won't be any wildlife that I have to deal with, I don't bring my knife. On top of that, I don't bring an expensive knife. I bring a cheap knife. The reason I bring a cheap knife is if I lose it...
Because you will lose it usually.
If I lose it, I don't care.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with me losing a $50 or less than $50 knife versus losing one of my nicer knives.
In terms of other wildlife, spiders, lizards, things like that, look, if I'm trying to get somewhere to get an advantage on the other team or another player, I could care less what's crawling on me. I mean, we had that. Unless it's a snake.
If you hear rattle, you walk away. And that's why when I play at a field like Casperia, for example, we were there the other week, go very slowly, listen. Very important to listen to what's going on. You hear a crack, 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 and you go,
watch
okay.
The ground.
Yeah, watch the ground where you're stepping. I mean, I've seen snakes before. I've dealt with snakes before. I've never been bit by a snake. You never want to be bit, especially if you're far away from a hospital. You not have a good time.
All right. Well, hopefully that.
Yeah. Good question. That was a really good question.
Okay, this one's by Elite Ghost Airsoft, or PH. Hey, Matt and George, and also of your special guest, who is absent today.
Yeah, no special guest.
What is your opinion about the paintball versus the airsoft gun, and why?
Did you ever play paintball?
No.
You never played paintball? I played paintball like when I was in high school. Paintball is fun. Speedball is fun. okay, I don't care if you play paintball. I think that speedball requires a lot of skill, a lot of athleticism. You know, you're running, you're sliding into things. You are, you know, I have a lot of respect for the people who do that, who are really good at it. Airsoft is different because it's mimicking more of the real side. I feel like that Airsoft was almost started because people really liked woodsball, you know, with paintball, and that's kind of more geared towards them. As Airsoft's actually more geared,
and then the more realistic.
The BB goes farther, you know, and it just worked because it's, you know. But I think speedball is better than the Airsoft version of speedball. I hate the Airsoft version of speedball.
I like Airsoft fast speedball. And that's that. No, okay. So and then, but I also, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe paintball is more of a contact sport, because it's more painful, and because you're shooting larger diameter rounds. There is a
very fast.
Yeah, there is a definite increase of potential injury.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I don't think I can play paintball anymore. I'd probably break my leg the first time I go out. Edge Outlaw. Hey, Vic, what is the best way to keep a GBB pistol, TM 5.1 ICAP, I figure,
my favorite pistol,
consistent in cold weather environments?
Okay, well, that's my expertise right there.
Go.
There are a variety of upgrades you can perform on TM high kappas, or any gas blowback pistol for that matter. Generally, CO2 is regarded as being relatively temperature stable. So if you have a CO2 compatible platform, I'd say definitely if you're in a cold weather environment, switch to CO2 mags as long as you have the proper upgrades to make sure it's not going to snap. You know, the slide's not going to get broken or anything like that. But if you don't have a gun that's supported by CO2 mods like the TM high kappa, upgrades to the nozzle, the blowback assembly, making sure that you're keeping the O-rings well lubricated, changing maybe your the palm nozzle valve, things like that. You might check out some of our Angel Customs upgrades. They are a little bit more durable. Definitely if you're trying to push harder pressures through the magazine, you want to upgrade to like a metal slide if you have a plastic slide and things like that. But I think by and large, the best way to combat cold weather is to just make sure you keep your mags warm. If you gas it up, tuck it under your arm is what I do. I keep a mag under either arm just to warm it up with body heat. And as long as the magazine can get warm and help the gas expand, I don't think you should have too many problems in cold weather.
No, so that's something we have a lot of experience with out here.
There you go. All right, this one's from Hunk. I'm sorry if I butchered that. How do you deal with cheaters and poor sports?
Now my attitude has been the same for the past year. They're cheating. Nothing you can get around it. I think a lot of people, I'm actually probably more angry now at people who yell at people, call out, than the people who are actually cheating, because I think a lot of people sometimes think their BBs are going farther than they really are. They think that their BB's hitting them. You have to remember, first the BB has to reach them, then the BB has to hit them, and then they have to...
It's got to have enough energy to be
noticeable. You know, if you see this BB just kind of flying, this tap, you know, you may not even know what happened. You know, so you can't get angry at that point. You just gotta. I just have the attitude of, you know what? All right, I'm playing to have fun. I'll get closer. You know, if he's not calling it, I gotta get closer.
And that's kind of my opinion too. Like I like being in people's face anyway. Like I like to rush a lot. So the closer I can get to somebody, the more effective I can be as an airsoft player, because my shots are going to be more accurate. They're going to have more power. They're generally going to call. In the event that I don't have somebody calling or they're cheating or whatever, remember that you're playing airsoft for one reason, and that's to shoot at people. So if somebody's not calling their hits, granted, they're taking a little bit of that reward away from you, but that just gives you an advantage to shoot them more. Make them call it.
Yeah, I mean...
in reason.
Within reason.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do one.
And if all else fails, do what I used to do, because I don't do it anymore, and that's keep a special mag. No 4-0s.
Oh, don't... Yeah. All right, last question.
For special people.
For the not so... Oh, this is from...
Riley Scalan.
Yeah, okay. For the not so round table, could you describe the difference between PALS and MOLLE webbing? They're the same thing.
Same thing. You're an expert on this. So.
Okay. MOLLE is a term that's licensed through the military. That just basically means there's an inch spacing between the webbing at 1.5 inch or 1.5 inch intervals. horizontally. Yes,
there you go.
I'm a know-it-all. And PALS is the exact same thing, but it's for the civilian market.
So the exact same spacing,
so let's say you buy,
same
it's
stitching.
the exact same everything. There's no difference on it at all. It's the same compatibility. It's just one's licensed for the military and one is not.
So really, when we refer to one item having webbing or being compatible with a certain type of webbing,
we call it PALS webbing here.
Okay.
I make you say it because that's the correct term because we're not in the military.
There you go.
There you go. That was a short question.
It was.
Awesome.
All right, guys. So hopefully I think we answered quite a few questions on this episode of Not So Round Table. If you have more questions, feel free to comment in the section below. Also, if you like what we're doing here at the Not So Round Table or you want us to bring on a special guest, let us know. Click that like button if you like what we're doing. Subscribe to our channel because we're going to start bringing out even more kind of comedic, funny, entertaining stuff, as well as continuing to do the reviews that you guys tuned in for originally. So we're trying to build the channel, make it that much more exciting.
More about community, and that's what we want to do. So also let us know the length of what you guys like in terms of the length of these episodes. I mean, we can keep talking. We can go through this entire helmet if we had to.
I'd really rather not, because we'd have like one long episode and not have any more.
Yeah, I know. So
if this was too long, let us know. Yeah. If you like the length, we'll do it again.
All right, guys.
See you later.